This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show, Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. Listen to the W Show on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio. Watching us live on one of our social media pages. We appreciate you. And if this is your first time checking us out, thank you for making us a part of your day. My name is Steve Walls, and as always, I'm joined by the other hosts of the show, Noel and Jazz. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everyone this morning?
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Yeah, man. It's been a rather long week. You guys been out and able to enjoy some of this nice weather?
Somewhat.
Yes, it's finally feeling like fall vibes, getting cooled off. I love it.
Oh yeah. Do you I'm not one for the fall. You have to give me either spring, or if I could get a solid, 70-degree day with a little overcast, I'm good. I'm good with that.
Really?
Oh yeah, of course.
But isn't that what fall is? Right now, at least it is.
No, because you have the temperatures drop to like 54, 55 at night. No, I need the temperature to stay constant 70 at night. It could probably drop to 65, and I'm good with that. But long sleeve shirt weather, jeans weather, that type.
Mm-hmm.
T-shirt if you want to.
By the end of the night, fire pit, got the hoodie on. That's my vibes for sure.
Yeah, I got you.
That's a good idea. I do like being around the fire pit.
All right, let's get to today's headlines. But before we do that, we're going to talk about what's coming up on today's show. We would discuss the Chiefs' loss to the Los Angeles Chargers last Sunday at Arrowhead. Is this cause for concern? Can they turn it around this week versus the Philadelphia Eagles? Also, the most talked about topic this week in Kansas City was the signing of newly reinstated wide receiver Josh Gordon. How will that play out? And we will dive into the NBA's proposal of strict COVID-19 rules for unvaccinated players ahead of the 2021-22 NBA season. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll get to our sneakers of the week during our Hater 11 segment. Let's get to today's headlines.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the crew, where winning isn't everything. And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
The Kansas City Chiefs fell short to the Chargers 24-30 last Sunday at Arrowhead Stadium. In the press conference afterwards, Chiefs assistant Dave Todd said, "You can't overcome 4 turnovers." And Mahomes finished with 260 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Steve, we'll start with you.
Dave Todd said it right. You can't. Anytime and it doesn't have to be the NFL. It could be NBA. It could be Major League Baseball. Anytime you have turnovers, that can cause you to lose a game, and especially in the NFL, where the margin of errors are so thin. Like you had 4 turnovers. The Chiefs did last week, and look at how the turnovers came. You had 2 interceptions by Patrick Mahomes. You had a turnover, also a fumble from Tyreek Hill. You had a fumble from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Those are costly. You can't expect to win a game, a divisional game at that, where you're playing a team that's pulling out all the stops. And the Kansas City Chiefs they understand that they have a target on their back. They understand that every team that is going to face them this season, just because of last season and the season before, this is their Super Bowl. They understand that if they want to make it to the Super Bowl, they have to beat this Kansas City Chiefs team, and they're going to try to score off of a turnover. And that's exactly what the Chargers were able to do. Now, a lot of talk was, oh, the defense is horrible. The defense isn't playing well. Well, at the beginning of the game, first quarter, the defense played, to me, the best that we've seen them play this season. And I felt like they gave the Chiefs the ball. They had a 3-and-out, 2 3-and-outs, actually. And so the Chiefs were able to go up 14-0, and they weren't able to do that. So I feel like this season so far is kind of a seesaw type deal, but a lot of fans are jumping ship. You see it, social media, you see it, people messaging the show. The Chiefs are no good. Their offense is they falling off. You hear, oh well, Tampa Bay has given everyone the blueprint. The offense isn't what they should be. The defense isn't this. The defense isn't that. Well, I feel like this upcoming game, and I know we'll talk about the upcoming game, but I feel like this upcoming game is a must win.
But even then, I feel like it wasn't necessarily something tactical with this week's game. A lot of it was just bonehead mistakes. Mm-hmm. And you could even see watching the game on the sideline, Patrick Mahomes at one point was talking about, like, we're beating ourselves basically. And the Chargers weren't letting Mahomes throw deep. And then they were making them check down and do short, long drives until they self-destructed themselves. And I feel like that's exactly what they did. They beat themselves. So I wouldn't necessarily say that they're a bust yet, and it's still early, but I think it's just like mental errors and making bonehead mistakes.
Agreed. This is really a non-issue, and everybody knows I'm not a Chiefs fan. I'm a Chiefs homer or anything like that, but this is a non-issue. Patrick Mahomes is a good enough leader. He's been on enough football fields. He's been around enough football teams to the point of where he knows, like, hey, like, all this is going to take is tightening down in practice. This is going to take where we get in practice and we're locked in for a whole week. We have an opponent that's less than spectacular this week. This is the week where everything goes right. This is the week where we make every mistake is eradicated and we just go out and we just run this other football team over. And then we're back on track. Because let's be honest, they're 1-2. This isn't a situation where they're 2-7 or we're halfway through the season and we're 3 or 4 games under 500. It's 3 games into the season, but it has to start now. I will say that this game is a must win, not so much for the record, but just like kind of for the Chiefs' psyche, I would say. They need to get Tyreek Hill off, no matter how you do it. Last 2 games, he's only had 8 catches, 70 yards. You need to find a way to get him the ball. You need to find a way to get. Edwards-Helaire, he did well last week. He did have that fumble, but he didn't play too terrible. You need to find a way to get him going. Travis Kelce has been doing fine. So, but also I think with this new signing as well, the wide receivers that are already on the team that were competing for that second spot, this is the week to show that, hey, like, there's a pecking order, and Josh Gordon, I don't care who you are, like, you're behind me. So I just think there's a lot on the line as far as not so much, again, record-wise, but it's a lot of, like, reputation and for your mental going forward, that this game, it carries a lot of weight. So I expect them to come out and kill.
And it's funny because a couple of months ago, Patrick Mahomes, there was I guess you can call him a heckler. Patrick was out doing in Utah for the golf tournament, and heckler had said this to Patrick.
Watch out for Justin Herbert next year. I'll see it when I believe it. Yeah.
He said, "Look out for Justin Herbert."
The heckler said, "Look out for Justin Herbert next year," and Patrick said, "I'll see it when I believe it." Well, post game, Patrick was asked about Justin Herbert and that comment that he made, and he said, "I guess I'm a believer." That's all I have to say about that. So you have a young guy that had shown you last season that he's not
He's a
afraid.
baller. Yeah, he's a baller.
Come out and he can make some plays. I mean, they have Mike Williams, they have Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen has always been a problem for the Kansas City Chiefs defense. I mean, always the past 3-4 years that he's played against this team. It's it's still early. Like Jazz said, it's still early, but you have to come to realization that there's some things that need to be tweaked. I don't think Chris Jones playing defensive end is the correct option that this team should be using. I feel like Chris Jones should be moved back to the inside. However, there's really nobody else to replace him on the outside. So that's where you kind of have to be, I guess, Coach Spags needs to figure out ways to move Chris Jones around and get sacks. That's what he's in there for. Their run defense has not been good. Their red zone defense has not been good, and that's one of the key points that he mentioned earlier during training camp. It was like we need to shore up our red zone defense, and they haven't been able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the defensive end is actually a problem. I mean, we're not worried about the offensive side. We shouldn't be, but the defensive side it is sort of an issue. I mean, they did get the stops early, and the Chiefs, gave the ball right back to them. But 4 touchdowns and close to 300 yards passing. That's not good for an opposing quarterback to have on the defense. And again, there wasn't many, stops as far as the run game was concerned. So we don't want the Chiefs to get into this bend don't break attitude where we rely on turnovers and stuff like that. You really want your defense. I mean, you really want them getting 3 and outs, regularly. At least, 4 or 5 times a game, you're getting 3 and outs. And it seems like that doesn't really happen too much for the Chiefs these days. So they just need to kind of tighten up. That's all.
Sure. Now, Chiefs assigned newly reinstated wide receiver Josh Gordon to their practice squad. He has not played in the NFL since the 2019 season when he split time between the Patriots and the Seahawks. He was suspended multiple times for violating the league's substance abuse policy. But do you guys think that he's going to be a game changer?
I do. I think that look, we've seen it time and time again. Of course, he hasn't played in an NFL game since December 29th, I believe, 2019. He'll need to return to somewhat of a game shape. I remember him vividly when in 2013 when he had the 1,600-yard receiving season, all pro, but he's had 6 NFL suspensions. 6 suspensions. So that kind of gives you a telltale sign of, all right, we have to keep close eye on this dude off the field. We know he's an all-pro talent on the field, but folks around Kansas City, if you see Josh Gordon out, lend him a helping hand. That's my message to you. But Josh Gordon, I feel like he can help this team. He'll be able to go across the middle. He's a 6'3" receiver, I believe, 225. The Chiefs don't have that on their team right now. I mean, they have Travis Kelce, but as far as another big receiver, a guy who can go across the middle and get those check downs, things like that, that's what Sammy Watkins did last season. Even though Sammy is, I believe, 6'1", 6'2", they need a receiver that, and Travis Kelce said it earlier this week, it's like you put 2 guys on him, even though he's guarded, he's still not guarded. You can still throw up the ball to him and he can go get it.
Facts. He's what we, in the football profession, they kind of call him a possession receiver, where it's just he's kind of, no matter how many times you throw him the ball, he's going to come down with it. You throw things like slants and ends and 5-yard stops, things like that. He's a big body. You just kind of throw it in the vicinity and he catches it. But that's not the issue. The issue is, can he stay on the field? Well, can he get into shape first? Then can he stay on the field? So if he can do those two things, just him being on the field helps the Chiefs offense tremendously. So that's the only question right now is can he get into shape and then can he get on the field?
But this is weird to say it, but when you look at the season, when you look at preseason, when you look at training camp, when you look at the offseason last year after the loss to Super Bowl, the Chiefs were like, all right, we're going to have to let Sammy go. We are in the market for a wide receiver. I believe they went after, it was reported that they went after Juju Smith-Schuster, but Juju wants to be a number one, and he didn't want to play, backseat to Tyreek Hill. He didn't want to play backseat to he would have really been the third option behind Travis and Tyreek, and he didn't want to do that. And so they were in the market for a receiver. They just, I believe, felt like Mecole would be a solid option. They brought Demarcus Robinson back for another season. They felt like he, is good enough. And also, Byron Pringle, he made tremendous leaps from Miami to Tampa to now, right? He's night and day from those past two seasons. So I feel like he's able to be that fourth option. And the Chiefs right now, everyone's going to slide down the depth chart. They really are. And that's going to be key in that wide receiver room. It's like, all right, how are you guys going to handle bringing in a legit number one wide receiver into this room? I know Tyreek Hill's good, right? Like he's not going to have any issue, but it's going to be those other guys who are now going to be fighting for time. And I think it's Demarcus Robinson who will be the one that, just because he's had majority of the snaps as the number one. I mean, as a number two. So I think it'll be him that's moved, a little bit further down the depth chart. It's going to make him, ball out. Like you said, no, you're going to have to come out there and show what you got. You got the next couple weeks to be able to show like, hey, I'm a legit number two. So don't be bringing him in, Josh Gordon, in here thinking that he's going to replace me, because this is what I'm able to do.
Lighting a little fire in that wide receiver locker. Now, the Chiefs, of course, are traveling to Philadelphia this week to take on the Eagles inside of Lincoln Financial Stadium. The Eagles are 1-2, and they're coming off a tough loss last week to the Cowboys, 21-41. Steve.
Dak Prescott threw what? It was 21 of 26, 238 yards, 3 touchdowns. If Dak can throw for 238, and I know we have some Cowboy fans that always watch us. No, you're from Dallas. You're a Cowboys fan. But if Dak can throw for 238, what do you think Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to go out there and do?
I mean, let's not act like Dak isn't playing elite so far this year. He is, but let's just be honest. Also, the Eagles' pass defense is just horrendous. Mm-hmm. It's exactly why I feel like Pat is going to go in there and blow the screws off the stadium. I think he's definitely going to go in there. He's like, I'm not turning the ball over. I'm finna get in my bag. This is one of those games where it's set up perfectly for me to, act up. I will say that you can't. The thing about it is we know they're the better football team overall. Like we know that top to bottom, they're the better football team. What you cannot do is allow the Eagles to get a couple early touchdowns, a touchdown field goal, a 10-0 lead, or like get a couple stops. You cannot allow them to do that. You have to beat them from special teams to offense to defense. You have to beat them in every facet of the game early. So then, all right, we don't have a chance. Like they're beating us down. But I fully expect Patrick to come out and ball. So I'm not really too worried about it, but they cannot let them get, one of those 10-0, 14-0 leads and have them feel like they have a chance. So.
And I think, and hold on for a second. I see Josh, your dad said, how about them Cowboys? Wait a minute. He's a Cowboys fan? I didn't know that.
Man, I don't own that.
I see you, Pops.
Whoa, wait a minute. All right, okay. But here's the thing. The Eagles went out there and got demolished on national TV, right? Monday Night Football. Now it's going to be how can they respond?
Mhm.
The Chiefs, they've won what, one game against the
Cleveland
Cleveland
Browns.
Browns, against the Cleveland Browns, and the first half didn't look too good. So they had one half of good football out of 3 games. One half. So these are two teams that are coming in and needing to get a win. I've said it the past couple of days, and it's like, all right, the Chiefs are now in last place in the AFC West. They haven't been here in years. It's been a long time since the Chiefs have found themselves in last place in their own division. The Raiders are in first. The Denver Broncos are shocking everyone. I know people are saying, hey, the Denver Broncos haven't played anybody, but it's like you only play who is on your schedule. So, I mean, you really can't knock them because they've only, played who they're matched up against. So the Denver Broncos are in second, and then you have the Chargers who are now in third place, and the Chiefs are looking up to everyone else. So they need this win. The confidence of the offensive line. The defense needs to have a few, I would say at least 3 sacks. If this game comes down to a last 2 minutes and the Eagles have to drive down and are able to win this game, I feel like this would be a failure for this team. Even if they only win by a field goal, I feel like that's a failure. I think this team needs to win by a touchdown or more. I would say at least 10 points to make sure that they're back in that win column.
For sure. I definitely think this one is more needed to set the tone than anything. Like Noel said, for a mindset thing going forward. Just to put their name back in that room and say, hey, this is early in the season. This is what happened, but this is who we really are.
Yeah, for sure. And we're gonna have to get Pops a jersey, a Chiefs jersey. For sure.
We don't need one.
Now, speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, right tackle La'el Collins attempts to bribe drug test collector. He will be eligible to return to the roster October 18th, but his suspension will cost Collins roughly $2 million.
You big dummy.
What are you thinking, first of all? What are you thinking? Like, you didn't. It's been proven that this does not work. We saw this back in 2013 when Von Miller tried to do something, trying to corrupt the drug test program with the help of the urine collector. It didn't work. Von Miller got a 6-game suspension. So, and not only that, it's like, all right, the players can't be suspended now for positive marijuana tests under the new NFL's collective bargaining agreement. So Collins, the issue was that he's missed multiple tests. I think one because a friend of the family passed away. The other is because an uncle passed away. And so he's been missing this test. And now it's like, all right, you tried to bribe the drug test guy. It's not gonna work, bruh. What are you thinking?
Red flag.
Yeah, it's just not gonna work. And now so the league, there was an outside arbitrator that was appointed by the league to basically come in and say, hey, the 5-game suspension is too much, right? So they dropped it down to 2 games. So he still wants to have his attorney to contact the league and say, oh, I don't want any games. So now they put it back up to 5 games. So I'm like, you got off basically scot-free. You got off with only a 2-game suspension, and then you want to continue on. It's like, no, man, I don't feel like 2 games. I shouldn't get any. So come on, bro. It's not a good deal.
Why? My thing is like, who are your like people in your corner? Who are your OGs? Like, who are telling you, advising you? Because now you've lost. Well, you said $2 million, lost $2 million in salary. You look like a disgrace. I mean, you don't get me wrong. He's a great player. He's a great player. Like he's a great player. But you just kind of look. You just look like you got egg on your face now. Like you just don't. your peers are looking at you sideways, coaches are looking at you sideways, owners are probably like, I don't know if I want him. It comes time for your next contract, unless you completely ball out and you're the best. I believe he's a left tackle, the best left tackle in the league. Then it's like, all right, it don't really matter. But if not, then it's like they looking. I don't know if I want to sign him. He don't make sound decisions. So it's just kind of foolish. But he's young. I'm sure he'll learn from this. Hopefully.
Yeah, this and the thing about it too is like, all right, the NFL Players Association, they went to bat for you. They got it not reduced. They got your 5-game suspension reduced to the 2 games, and then you go and try to circle back around and say, nah, that ain't cool. I want all my games back. Come on, man.
You're foolish.
Come on. That's why he gets.
You big dummy.
Hopefully he learns from it.
Hopefully.
We're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll discuss the new NBA COVID protocols and Richard Sherman signing with the Tampa Bay Bucks. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
This crowd is ready and waiting. Number 1 against number 2.
Walk into a gym and hear a ball bouncing and you smell popcorn and you hear a band, I don't think it gets any better than that.
The Peeler era that ended in 88 through the Jerron Rush era that ended in 98.
They loved it. I mean, it comes Friday night. You better get there early. We like to call this place the Pit.
Oh, Friday night. Literally, you felt like you were fighting for your life.
You need security to get off the bus.
This is going to be nasty.
Heard the stories about Coach Latham. I hear these guys talk. I'm like, man, this man must be crazy.
1,000 people running out on the floor, just engulfed the whole floor. And
they didn't award us the trophy. And it was a joke.
There isn't a seat to be had in here tonight.
I think it holds 10,500. And I bet I've had 20,000 people tell me we're at that game.
This is going to be a happening. This was more than a basketball game.
We're not worthy over here.
And I said, who is this kid? And they said, Coach, that's the next phenom of Kansas City basketball. That's Jerron Rush.
By the time I was 11, who were the best players in the country?
In the evolution of Metro sports, Jerron and Kareem Rush were huge.
Man, we were at each other's throat.
Who do they think they are? I mean, they ain't the only ones that can play ball in the city.
I said, all right, watch this.
The head of the pack.
He could just flat out score.
And so you couldn't talk trash to him. He would laugh.
He was a dog on both ends of the floor.
That's a long legacy, and it's a proud tradition.
It's right here in the city. Right here.
Hey, we Kansas City basketball. This is what we do in this part of town.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it. Message us, and we'll talk about whatever topic you want. But the NBA is proposing strict COVID rules. Some players have been speaking out, like Andrew Wiggins, LeBron, Kyrie Irving. Let's hear from LeBron and Draymond Green first.
Everyone has their own choice to do what they feel is right for themselves and their family and things of that nature. I know that I was very skeptical about it all, but after doing my research and things of that nature, I felt like it was best suited for not only me, but for my family and for my friends. But as far as speaking for everybody and their individualities and things that they want to do, I don't feel like that's not my job.
That would be like Andrew, who, as everyone know, previously just had a kid, maybe, 5 months ago or so now. That would be like me telling him, like, yo, your wife is going into labor. How dare you leave this team and not go tend to your wife for what that can mean for this team? That's something that's personal to him. That's health related. That's, something that's personal to his family. This is no different. This is, we're dealing with something that to me feels like has turned into a political war. When you're talking about a vaccination and non-vaccinated, I think it's become very political. And for someone who's not extremely into politics, when you make something so political and people, not everyone is into politics, then you can also turn those people off. And I think there is something to be said for people's concern about something that's being pressed so hard. Like, why are you pressing this so hard? Like, so much, you're just pressing and pressing and pressing. I think you have to honor people's feelings and their own personal beliefs. And I think that's been lost when it comes to vaccinated and non-vaccinated.
Interesting.
No. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, I know you want to get off on this one. Go ahead, man.
I mean, so the thing about playing on, sports teams is you have teammates, and in order for you guys to win, you have to kind of be on the same page, or you have to kind of, support them on what they're going through. So like when I hear LeBron James say, whatever, individual choices that's not up to me, or Draymond say, hey, that's what he's going through. That's what we have to support. I completely agree, because they're trying to win basketball games. They're trying to win basketball games so they can get paid more money, so they can be a bigger star, so they can open up all these opportunities. I completely understand why they would say that. Now, if they're a smart individual, like I feel like Draymond is, and I feel like LeBron is, that's not exactly how they feel in their heads. I know it isn't, because this issue isn't like you can be on both sides thing. Like, you can understand why people don't want to do it, but at the same time, there is literally a reason why you have to do it, because we've seen it before. Like, vaccinations actually work. So I know why, like, Draymond decided to go that route, because he didn't want. Why would you want to upset your starting small forward? Like, why would you want to get? You have to be on the same page with him, because the season's coming up. You don't want him feeling like he's alienated and he doesn't want to be on the team, so he doesn't show up. At the same time, the NBA is a private company and they're allowed to do what they want to do. So if they're saying we're requiring vaccinations in order for you to play, and we're not going to pay you salary if you don't, then that's their decision. Just like it's your decision to not take the vaccine. And if you don't want to take the vaccine, exactly, that's nobody is forcing it on you. But the rest of society is trying to move on from this virus, and that's just kind of where it is. I mean, there's a reason why the NBA is 95% vaccinated, because everybody else, they understand what's going on. And I feel like LeBron and Draymond and Kyrie and everybody else, they understand too. It's just one of those things where they may not trust exactly what's going on. Like Draymond said, like, we don't know exactly what's going on, so we're not going to trust it. If to that, I say just kind of do your own actual research, because you have the resources to do so. You are a millionaire. You're able to hire your own scientists. You're able to hire your own doctors. That's what I would say to that. I wouldn't say go find these, conspiracy theories on how they're, trying to get us out of here, or maybe they're trying to get us chipped, or whatever you believe, whether it's against your religion, anything like that. I would just say hire your own doctors.
I agree. To that point, like you said, the NBA is at a 95% vaccination rate.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is, it's like you have these young millionaires who, and I get it, LeBron's not young anymore by any means. And we've talked about it before. What LeBron says kind of goes, right? It to a certain extent in the NBA. Like he says it's gold. And if LeBron comes out and says, all right, all y'all need to go get vaccinated, 9 times out of 10, most of all these people are gonna go and get vaccinated. Like that, I feel like that's what it is. But LeBron is kind of now trying to straddle the fence a little bit to me and say, all right, well, I got vaccinated. I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it for my friends. I'm doing it for this, and that, and the third. But on the other side, it's like, it's not my job to tell these people to go get vaccinated. Oh, but it is your job to tell these people to go get vaccinated. It's like, I know it's everybody's their own man and their own woman, but they look up to you at the end of the day. And all it takes is for one person that's not vaccinated to go and spread. All it takes is for one person to lose focus of what the team is about. It's about a team. It's about everyone together for one common goal, to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a part of a team and the team comes to an agreement and says, all right, this is what we need to do to make sure that our season is together, and we don't have any, because I think the rule now is the players, they're not able to go out, they're not able to be around different the environments that have a lot of people. They have to stay at their own homes. They can't stay with the team at the hotel. There's so many other stipulations that these players have to have, but you don't really see any of the. Kyrie is like the only person, the only star that has come out and said, I just don't believe in it. I'm not getting vaccinated. Otherwise, you've seen KD, and I know he hasn't said it, but I believe he's vaccinated. You've seen LeBron. You haven't seen Dame Lillard come out and say anything like that. You haven't seen.
Yes. He made a statement. He said, I'm vaccinated, and this is why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for the staff. I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it for all the people that's around me, which is exactly what you're supposed to say if you're an actual team player.
The stars know what it is. They know exactly what what it is. And so Kyrie, I think a lot of times tries to play the narrative of like, all right, I'm going to be the outlier. Like, I'm going to think in left field.
Devil's advocate type of.
Yeah. I think that's what Kyrie does. Like,
exactly.
He's the type of person that's like, I'm not going to go with the masses, which I'm not telling you to be a follower, but I'm telling you to do what's right. And there's the what is it? Is it the Pfizer vaccine that's now FDA approved?
Mm-hmm.
So you had an argument like, okay, well, none of these vaccines are FDA approved. They just come out they put them out there and nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. We're all going to turn to zombies, blah, 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 whatever. Well, now it's FDA approved. So you don't really have an argument. Like, what is your real argument that you're not getting a vaccine? I just don't get it.
Especially when it's 32 million. In Andrew Wiggins' case, it's 32 million on the line, or 24. It's one of those numbers is on the line for him, missing the 41 games at home and then missing the New York games. As it stands, it was somewhere like in that. I don't know. I may be wrong about that, but it was millions of dollars were at stake. And he tried to go the religious exemption, and then had a chance to explain, why this is his beliefs, why he decided like, hey, I need a religious exemption for this, and he decided not to. He said, please respect my privacy, which I mean, again, is just coming off as like, well, I was wrong here, so I'm not gonna, explain. And it doesn't ring like authentic to me. It just reads as I want to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. And if this private company tries to stop me and take my wages, then I'm going to put up a fight. And it's like you're fighting against the wind, man. Like, it's going to continue to blow. You can't stop it. Like, you're just going to have to either get vaccinated and get paid your millions and millions dollar salary, or don't and go somewhere else and work for another company that doesn't require you to be vaccinated. It's just simple as that.
Yeah, it's like, what's the end goal? What's the end goal? The end goal is to what? Play basketball, win a championship. Like, that's what you signed up for.
Exactly.
You signed up for it's all about team. It's not an individual sport. You're not a golfer. You're not playing tennis. You're not a swimmer. Like, it's not individual. It's a team. There's no I in team. There's no cop out. Like, there's no saying, all right, well, I'm not gonna go get vaccinated. Y'all can do it, but I ain't gonna do it. Since when does that fly? It doesn't. It never does. Since teams have been formed, that has never flied. You've never been able to say, all right, I'm gonna do my own thing and y'all go do your own thing.
You get kicked off the team. Like, you get alienated. You get like whole teams have been, whole championship rosters have been, they've had their downfall because of one player not going along with what everybody else is doing. And if we do the numbers, 95% vaccination means it's only 5% of y'all, and that really only equates to like one person the roster, maybe even less than that. Like, I'm just kind of flabbergasted at where do they, like, what is, like you said, the end goal? What do you want to accomplish? Because we already know vaccines work. There's a reason why we don't have polio right now. There's a reason why chickenpox, the common cold doesn't kill us. Like, if you get a cold right now and it's still here, you'll still get it. But guess what? It's not going to kill you. You know why? Because we created a vaccine for that. Like, I just don't get it. I don't. It feels like there's just one thought in their head and they're not thinking ahead. That's what it is. That's what I just see. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they know something I don't. So
yeah, it's kind of one of those slippery slopes where you start going down that rabbit hole and it just ends up being what it is. But I think one interesting thing is that in Rolling Stones magazine over, I think it was last weekend, Irvin's aunt, Tyke Irving, she was quoted as saying that Irvin was unvaccinated for reasons not religious based, it's moral based.
Yeah, I saw that too. I'm just kind of like, you know what? I've learned not to listen to professional athletes' family, unless they have a record of, being, pretty spot on. So when it comes to their families, they can say a whole lot of wild stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like my nephew's in the NBA. So what you gonna tell me? Like,
yeah.
And it's like kind of whatever. All right.
You got it. Now we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll have our Hate It or Love It segment, kick it off with our sneakers of the week. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
This crowd is ready and waiting. Number one against number two.
Walk into a gym and hear a ball bouncing and you smell popcorn and you hear a band. I don't think it gets any better than that.
A Peeler era that ended in 88 through the Jerron Rush era that ended in 98.
They loved it. I mean, it comes Friday night. You better get there early. We like to call this place the pit.
Oh, Friday night. Literally, you felt like you were fighting for your life. You need security to get off the bus.
This is going to be nasty.
Heard the stories about Coach Lathrop. I hear these guys talk. I'm like, man, this man must be crazy.
1,000 people running out on the floor, just engulfed the whole floor. And
they didn't award us the trophy. And it was a joke.
There isn't a seat to be had in here tonight.
I think it holds 10,500. And I bet I've had 20,000 people tell me we're at that game.
This is going to be a happening. This was more than a basketball game.
We're not worthy over here.
And I said, who is this kid? And they said, Coach, that's the next phenom of Kansas City basketball. That's Jerron Rush.
By the time I was 11, who were the best players in the country?
In the evolution of Metro sports, yeah, Jerron and Kareem Rush were huge.
Man, we were at each other's throat.
Who do they think they are? I mean, they ain't the only ones that can play ball in the city.
I said, all right, watch this.
The head of the pack.
He could just flat out score.
And so you couldn't talk trash to him. He would laugh.
He was a dog on both ends of the floor.
That's a long legacy, and it's a proud tradition.
It's right here in the city, right here.
Hey, we Kansas City basketball. This is what we do in this part of town.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live. It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Starting off the sneakers of the week, we have the Air Jordan 5 shattered backboards.
I'm rocking. I'm definitely rocking.
They all right. I don't really like them. That orange just doesn't do it for me.
I ain't never seen you wear fives before. You don't like fives?
They cool. I've had a couple pair of fives. I had the Laneys. I had the all black, and the OGs. The all black.
OGs, yeah.
Yeah, I had those. I think I had the grapes. Yeah, I've had a few, but these I'm not fooling with these.
My personal favorite this week, the Nike Dunk High Women's Illumina.
Yeah. Mark Lewis agrees with you too. But yeah, I like these. These are sweet. I like those. Anything Carolina blue. I like them.
Steve color, so that's his color. So
yeah, those go crazy. Air Jordan 13 Houndstooth, aka Girl Boss.
These are cool. I like them. I mean, even with the purple bottoms, but that gray, the Houndstooth, I like that.
That's like the color in them pantsuits. That's what that is. I'm cool. I just don't. I don't see how I could like pull them off. That's why I'm just kind of like.
I think I'm with Noah on that one. I don't know if I'm a fan. Last but not least, the Nike Dunk Low Championship Red.
Somebody said about Andy Reid a pair of these when the Chiefs won.
You just couldn't wait. They cool shoes, man. They cool shoes. You probably gonna throw some yellow laces in them.
Why you gotta have that hate in your voice? No, come on, man.
Yellow laces. I just know it. I know that's something you'll do.
Nah. That was back in the day. That was so 8th grade of me.
I can definitely picture you rocking those on game day, though, Steve.
Yeah, with the right fit, right fit from Dillon. I can do that.
With a suit. Famous for the suit and sneakers.
That's right.
Facts. Now, Dr. Dre, Snoop, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar are to perform at Pepsi Super Bowl 57. Hate it or love it.
Love it.
I love it for sure.
I love it.
And here's the thing about this. And a lot of people have to give Jay-Z a hand. Like, give Jay-Z a round of applause because what was it, like a few months ago? Not even that. The news came out that Jay-Z and Roc Nation, his entertainment company that he founded, they had been in a deal with the NFL. That was he was going to advise on selecting artists of major NFL performances like the Super Bowl. And so that year, well, let me see. It was the first, maybe it was 2 years ago that this happened. But anyway, Demi Lovato was like his first artist that he selected. People were like, "Oh, well, I thought you were for the culture. I thought you were, going to get, make these halftime performances be dope. Like you selling out. You're doing this, you're doing that." Well, last year you had The Weeknd in Tampa, and people were still like, "Oh, well, Weeknd, we really don't rock with The Weeknd." Well, just 6-7 years ago, when The Weeknd was heavily pushed by Drake, and he was on every other song with Drake, you guys really rocked with The Weeknd. Well, now it's like, no, we're not fooling with The Weeknd. So a year later, you have a huge performance announcement, and people are still like, "Oh, well, we love it. We love this. We love it. We love the Dr. Dre. We love the Mary J. We love, Eminem on there, Kendrick Lamar, Snoop Dogg. Like, we love this. Come on. Y'all need to keep that same energy that y'all had 2 years ago."
Nah, Twitter. I'm tired of Twitter discourse because they was hating on Jay from the moment this was announced. They was hating on Jay. They were saying he's a sellout. Like, he's partnering, because it was right around the times when the Black Lives Matter thing was kind of mixing with the NFL, and they were like, "Oh, he's a sellout. Why would you? We're trying to, we're against the NFL right now." And so he decided, "Hey, I'm gonna go talk to them, and I'm gonna go infuse some culture. I'm gonna go force them to like have us on the big stage." And so now there's not a peak. Now there's nobody saying, "Oh, he's a sellout," or "He's not for the culture." Like, you remember that? You remember that press conference where he talked about that, and everybody just gave him all sorts of. I was just like, man, y'all was so stupid. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, that was just my rant there. But
Jazz, what you think about this performance? What do you think? Because for me, it's just like, this is gonna be dope. We're gonna be in LA for the Super Bowl, and I'm excited.
I'm here for it, 100%. Like, honestly, I know we just talked about the weekend and how there was so much hype, but I will say I was one of the ones that was a little disappointed by the weekend.
See?
So this year, I'm like, oh, it's up. It's definitely up, and it's stuck. I'm loving the lineup. I'm here for it. I like how they're having multiple different artists. It's not just one honed in on. I'm here for it. I support it.
Mark Lewis, I'm a Dog Pound fan myself, so I'm good with it. Need Snoop, bring Daz and Crep on stage. You know what? I think what Dr. Dre came out and said they have 17 minutes, I think. So 17-minute performance that they are able to do. It's going to be a lot of fireworks. I can say that. I can say that. It's in LA. This is going to be good. And
it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I can't wait, honestly.
I might need to actually be in the game for that one. So let's just go ahead and plan that.
I mean, we watched the weekend last year in Tampa, and it just didn't do it for it didn't do it for me. It really didn't. It had all the fireworks and all, but I'm like, nah, the weekend just doesn't do it.
I mean, yeah.
I agree. Now, Brewers pitcher Devin Williams breaks hand punching the wall. Hate it or love it.
Give him the big dummy. The biggest one you can find.
Big dummy.
Hate it.
What?
Hand, too. Like
the pitching hand. Like, come on, dog.
Yeah, I'm kind of dumbfounded by this. When drinking after a win goes wrong, right after the playoff berth. Yeah. Why did you hit the wall, man? Like, I can see people hitting the wall when you're upset.
When you lose, that's when you break your hand.
Yeah. I'm not gonna just go, I'm a man, I won. Yeah, punching the wall. No, man. What is wrong with you? Come on, bro.
Just don't get it.
We might have to hit the big dummy one more time.
Yeah.
Big dummy. Big dummy.
Lord.
Bud Light launches a tailgate candle. Hate it or love it.
What? What is that? What is that? Like,
I don't think I'll be lighting that one in my house. So it's like a mixture of like beer, Cheetos, barbecue. Like I needed like a smell test on this one.
Oh no!
So there, you know how they give off little notes. They're supposed to be like adding to what Jazz said: smoked charcoal, a New Jersey, crowded bleachers, lawn chairs, grass, dried face paint. Like, come on, and don't forget pigskin. Like, you know, what the football smells like. So.
Who's buying this? Who are they marketing it to?
Somebody's gonna go out there and spend $34 on a candle.
Oh my God!
Now I'll stick with my fall scents right now.
Yeah, I'm cool. Give me my pumpkin spice and my apple cinnamon and all of that. I'm cool. Yeah.
But these candles, though, they're made by Homesick. If you want to go check them out, they're at homesick.com. But they have some different, like they have Southern California. So do you know what the smell of Southern California is?
Traffic. It smells like traffic and gun smoke.
Like Beach Cottage, Great Barrier Reef. They have Let's Toast, Australia, Just Married. What does Just Married smell like?
Ooh. That's scary. It depends on who you're marrying, I guess. That's
Married. They have a Hawaii road trip. Yeah, this is interesting.
More power to you. If you get it, one of our viewers, if you get the candle, comment on what it smells like and what you think. Okay.
You know what? I just found y'all Christmas gifts for this year.
Man, get out of my face.
I'm getting you which one am I gonna get you? I think I'm gonna get you road trip or backyard barbecue. Which one you want?
Man,
you might get both. Yeah.
Disgusting.
Now Tyron Woodley really got a Jake Paul tattoo. Hate it or love it.
Hate it.
That's your pops now. That's your man's.
But he got where it says I love Jake Paul on his middle finger. Like
Yeah, that's still your man. That's your daddy now. Like you like you live in his house. Like he fixes your lunch for school. Like you make sure you get tucked into bed.
Yeah.
That's what that is to me.
That's ugly. Ja Morant wants a mil to enter the dunk contest. Hate it or love it.
Love it.
Hate it.
Come on, Brian. I paying $1 million to enter your dunk contest. Come on, man.
And that's how you're gonna get them to compete. That's how you're gonna get them to really do it. $1 million.
Yeah, true. I get it.
Let's hear what he had to say in the interview with Taylor Rooks.
Okay, so I need a definitive answer on something. There's no wiggle room. You guys say right now, are we ever going to see you do the dunk contest?
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think so.
Now, okay, so we've had conversations about the dunk contest, and I know your biggest thing is about the judging of the dunk contest. So what would it take for you to be like, okay, you know what? I will do this.
$1 million.
You see how she laughed at him? Like, are you serious? That's how I feel.
$1 million. Let's make it happen, NBA. I know you got it in the budget. $1 million. Let's go.
LaMelo Ball to start 4-year scholarship program. Hate it or love it.
I love it.
Love it. I love it. Yeah.
Great men, those balls.
Oh man, this is good for him though, man. I feel like, his family has been in so much I would say his dad has put them in so many different conversations of you should do this and you should do that. Well, this is a good one. This is gonna be good. This is for 4-year scholarship to Long Island University, Rock Nation School of Music, Sports and Entertainment, 21-22 academic year. So this is gonna be good. And communication and marketing major. So
love to see it for sure. Yo Gotti joins MLS DC United as part of expanded ownership group. Hate it or love it.
I love it.
I love it.
Get paid, black man. Get paid.
It's not only showing the fact that you don't see guys just blowing their money like they used to. You see people actually now investing, and I think that's what social media has highlighted a lot of. You see a lot of these people that are on Instagram and they're showing off their cars, their jewelry, for however they've gotten their money from different investments. They talk about Bitcoin, they talk about just different ways to invest your money, and whoever is in his corner has come to him and said, hey man, you need to figure out how to invest this, turn 1 into 2. And I think he's really showing that he's wanting to make sure that he has some generational wealth for his family. And he's like, hey, I'm not just a rapper. I'm going to invest my money in sports, like in soccer. And like you look in Kansas City, soccer is the most, I think, growing sport in Kansas City right now. Jazz, you play soccer, you know how popular it is.
For sure. And with boys and girls. So I think it's a good investment on both sides. Just to say, like, hey, let's put soccer more on the map, And I like to see that he wasn't doing it necessarily with, like a basketball organization, something like that, that's already had a lot of support. But soccer really hasn't got as much backing here in the States. So I'm glad to see him trying to put them on the map more too.
I'm upset it wasn't with Sporting, but it is what it is. Like you said, no, get paid. What do you guys have going on for the rest of the day?
Kicking it.
Gotta go drive.
All right, we appreciate everyone who joined in on today's show. Remember, if you missed any part of today's show, you can always go back and check it out on any of our social media platforms at the W Show KC. Remember, next week we will be right back here at the W Show KC, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time. We'll be out of here.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live. The views and opinions expressed on the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.